You know, the more I think and ponder about the iPhone 17 lineup, one singular word keeps coming to my mind, and that singular word is boring! I'm sorry, I know we're supposed to be excited that there's a thinner iPhone again, but to me, the iPhone 17 Air, while that's probably gonna be the star of the show for a couple of months, I'll probably even review one on this channel because it is new and different. Still, the more I think about it, it's basically like 15 compromises for one perk. Worse camera, worse battery life, worse modem, worse speakers likely, all for the sake of, wow, yeah, it feels a little lighter than before. Which is why we're still gonna talk about it, we're still gonna cover it on this channel, but the more I think about what the rumors are saying right now, the iPhone 18 series, which might not even be called that, they could move to iPhone 27, or they might just drop the numbers entirely, but I do think next year is gonna get particularly interesting, because all four iPhones will now be expensive, which is great. Let's begin. I wanted to kind of walk through what the current projections are. This video may age terribly, but as far as what the next year and a half looks like for iPhone launches, and really just like 14 months, because we're around 60 days away now from the launch of the iPhone 17 lineup, which basically will replace the Plus model with an Air, and aside from that, things are business as usual. But then next year is when things start to change up a little bit. The current reports are saying that the base model is not going to be released in September anymore. But they are still saying 4 new iPhones are going to launch next year. The cheapest one is going to be the iPhone 18, or whatever it's called, Air, alongside 18 Pro, 18 Pro Max, and then the real new kid on the block. Still don't know the naming scheme, of course, for this one. It could be iPhone Fold, it could be iFold, it could be iPad mini. But yes, after all these years, Apple is reportedly finally actually moving forward with a foldable device, and I absolutely cannot wait to hear the marketing team tell us why we should care about foldables after all this time. But all jokes being aside, yes, Apple is very late to this segment, but I do expect them to probably have the best software of any foldable out there, and Apple usually is pretty good at making devices feel pretty high quality and premium. Definitely don't expect the foldable iPhone to be cheap. I'm thinking $2,000 at least. Could easily become a $2,500 Apple product with storage options and maybe pencil accessories if they decide to go that route. But my personal prediction, I could be wrong, but I think Apple tends to like some naming consistency, at least a little bit. We've got M4, M4 Pro, M4 Max, and M4 Ultra. We've had Apple Watch, Series 9, Series 10, and also Apple Watch Ultra. Now even CarPlay Ultra is in the mix for some reason, but something about that Ultra naming seems to be working for them fairly well. They like using that. So my guess, considering they already have Pro and Pro Max used in the iPhone naming scheme, is that the folding iPhone will be the first generation iPhone Ultra, and they'll consider it an Ultra feature because it has, a pretty decent display on the outside, but you can unfold it and have kind of a mini iPad on the inside that maybe allows for some actual split screen multitasking functionality that you just straight up couldn't really get to work reliably on regular iPhones. And personally, as expensive and maybe as niche as the folding iPhone sounds, I'm excited about it the more I think about it. Not because I think it's necessarily going to be the best buy or something everybody should get, but it's a lot more interesting technologically for the iPhone line, and I think there's a lot more benefits that outweigh the compromises. Of course, the compromise being it's expensive. Yes, there might be some questions and some concerns when it comes to the durability, but I think Samsung and other folding phones out there have proven that these phones can be reliable. They don't fall apart after just a couple of years of ownership, and Apple appearingly even has found a way to somewhat eliminate the crease, which I didn't even find to be that big of a deal when I reviewed folding phones in the past. And I'm not even saying on this video that I would definitely buy an iPhone Ultra, but I just think the iPhone line is in desperate need of a change-up, a mix-up a little bit, because the stovetop cameras have been the same for many years, and we've just been staring at kind of the same glass rectangles with slightly thinner bezels for so long. I'm I'm ready for a big change up, and I don't know about you guys, but the folding iPhone concept where we can have a mini iPad with an OLED display and still have a great camera that can fit in our pocket, that, I don't know, gets me a bit more excited than just, wow, this phone is lighter, and we just took out the battery, the cameras, and the speakers to do so, which is kind of what we're getting this year. Next year, I personally think is going to be a bit more interesting. Honestly, might be even a little more interesting than this 20th anniversary iPhone that's supposed to come out in 2 years. I think it's probably getting way too much hype these days. Everyone's just assuming somehow Apple will miraculously cover the entire phone with pixels, which isn't even a good idea, and maybe the camera goes underneath the display, which is like, wow, look at this crazy technology, but honestly, in their day-to-day life, I don't think the camera being underneath the display makes that big a difference on how we use our phones, but maybe if we have the option of folding up our phone, fitting it in our pocket, but still having a big screen that can do multiple apps simultaneously, maybe you won't need an iPad anymore when that phone comes out. I don't know, that sounds slightly more interesting to me as far as this lineup goes. It'll be the first foldable with iMessage, and that in itself will probably turn it into the best-selling foldable in the world, even though it's like, yeah, the last one to the party. Everyone's gonna be mocking Apple for being late, but statistically speaking, Apple is rarely first to anything, but usually they get the execution the best, at least when they're working properly. But who knows, in this present day, modern day Apple, maybe they'll find a way to screw up a foldable. But feel free to let me know how you guys feel about this year's rumored iPhones versus next year's. Which one's more exciting to you? Does that next year iPhone launch make you more interested in skipping this year's iPhones to save up a little bit more? All that good stuff. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you all in the next one.